I did a story on NYPD doing a great resignation. Well, they're not alone. New York City workers are also quitting in droves. So, why are city workers in New York quitting in droves? Well, the New York City has the largest municipal employer in the country is facing an exodus to city workers that has led to a surge in job vacancies and difficulties delivering basic municipal services. The wave of departure has included healthcare workers, park employees, police officers, child protective services workers, and some are high ranking officials with decades of experience. Others are younger employees, some of whom bypass higher paying private sector jobs because they wanted to make a difference. The city's overall job vacancy rate is at 7.7% as of March, 5 times higher than the recent years, according to the most recent data from the Citizens Budget Commission. The labor shortage has affected a wide array of city agencies. Nearly 25% of the jobs at the building department remain empty. Resignations and retirements from the police department are the highest they have been in nearly 2 decades. A critical New York City inspection team, which responds to violations and complaints about lead paint, mold, heat, and hot water, has been hampered by a severe staffing shortage, with 140 positions waiting to be filled. Similar labor shortfalls has caused the team agency, the Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development, to tell some multifamily homeowners seeking tax exemption it can take up to a year to have a project manager assigned to their application because of limited staff capacity and significant backlogs of projects. Interviews with nearly 20 current and former city workers suggest several key reasons behind the city worker shortage. So, they said the city is very lethargic in filling open vacancies, a job market that, in many cases, offers more lucrative and more flexible private sector options. A pandemic era hiring freeze that was largely lifted by November, according to the state's controller office. And according to the city, a rule that an agency can only hire one worker after two have left. Many also cited Mayor Eric Adams' campaign to compel city workers to return to the office full time, a stance that was reinforced in late May. While hybrid schedules have become more common in the private sector, the mayor firmly believes that the city needs its workers to report to work every day in person. Frank Carone, the mayor's chief of staff, wrote in a memo: some turnover in the city workforce is to be expected when a new mayor enters City Hall, as Mr. Adams did in January. But much of that had changed typically seen at the highest level of government and not as widespread as it has been this year. At the end of March, the city had 446 fewer municipal employees than it had at the start of the month, according to previously unreported data acquired from Freedom of Information request. In the previous month, the city had a net loss of 581 employees. the 7.7% staffing vacancy rate, the percentage of budgeted positions that remain vacant vastly exceeds 1.5% figure in March 2019 and in March 2020, as well as 1.2% in March of 2014, 3 months after Bill de Blasio became mayor. The staffing crisis is part of the national trend as more workers level up in the job market or set up their own businesses. And that is huge. That is huge. A lot of people prefer to work for themselves than get up and break their neck for somebody that will never appreciate it. And others opt out for a lack of childcare. A phenomenon known as the Great Resignation has taken hold. But to paraphrase, each workplace fosters unhappiness in its own way. Mm-mm-mm. So one department worker left his job as a parks department engineer because he no longer felt he had the resources to do his job he was proud of. Cassandra Kennedy, a public health advisor, quit because the city's full return to office edict and her pay was too low. Rob Poole, a former project manager at the Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development, left for a private sector job opportunity in the same field that offered significantly more money. He said that many coworkers had quit before him, causing the workload to balloon. The department continued after Mr. Poole left his job in February 2022, half a year after Mr. Poole had quit. His former city agency hired 13 employees but lost 45, a net loss of 32 workers. The city's staffing shortages may complicate Mr. Adams' get stuff done mantra, potentially hampering his ability to implement key initiatives like aggressively building affordable housing and modernizing city services. Will definitely think that there was a need to right size the workforce. All right. So, and I did my video on the police department, and they had 1,400 cops retire and 647 resign this year. And this year is not even over. So it will definitely be much higher. So they said they've already exceeded the amount of departures from 2019 before the pandemic, according to filings from the Police Pension Fund. Patrick Lynch, president of the Police Benevolent Association, said in a statement that the department was in a staffing crisis and that the city was losing some of its most talented and experienced officers at a time when major crimes are rising. City Parks Department officials are having a hard time hiring entry level staff, information technology workers, and lifeguards, one said. So they said they can't find people. Folks are harder to come by to take these jobs. Of the 16 staff members listed as senior on the website of the mayor's Office of Criminal Justice in December, are no longer working for the city. Public defenders and prosecutors have been leaving their jobs in droves as developers race to get foundations into the ground before the major state tax incentive phases out. The construction industry is luring site safety managers, inspectors, engineers from the buildings department with promises of bigger salaries, more work from home flexibility, and better growth opportunities, according to senior building department employees. Fabian Levy, a spokesman for the mayor, said in a statement that the city's labor shortage was part of a nationwide trend. He's absolutely right about that. So, normally the city has roughly 300,000 workers, the largest municipal workforce in the nation. Well, don't look like you have that now, and it's no telling if you will ever get it, which you probably won't at this point. You know, I would think a place like New York would pay pretty well, but apparently they don't pay as well as I thought they did. So New York got a big problem on their hands. You got the cops leaving in droves, and now your city workers are walking out and resigning and retiring and taking higher paying jobs and leaving the city high and dry. But y'all, please tell me what you think. I think it has a lot to do with the mayor, and I think y'all know what I mean. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.